Hi class. What we're going to do today is I'm going to teach you how to do heat transfers. Here are the directions. They are attached in this Google Classroom assignment. Your job is to do two transfers. One you're going to get graded just as like a in-class project. You're going to get 100 for it if you do it. The other one will be graded on how well you do it. It'll be counted as a project. I'm going to scroll down the directions. And items available talks about t-shirts, mouse pads. If you ask me, they're in the two brown closets in the class. I will show you where they are, and you can look through the items, figure out what you want. These are the key things to remember as I scroll down on the item over here. These are some of the key things. If you notice, one of the direction points is way bigger than everything else. If you notice at the very top, it says measure the item. This is the most common question I'll get on this lesson. I cannot tell you how big you should make your thing. You have to decide that. You have to decide if you want to make a measure. You make a measurement and figure out how big it is, and then that's how big you make your InDesign document. It has sizes for that. So that's what you want to do there. If you can do that, you can figure it out. You can also use an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and put multiple assignments on one thing if you're going to do a lot of small assignments. But typically, I suggest a full piece of paper for a t-shirt design if you want to cover the full front of your t-shirt or back of your t-shirt. Don't be afraid to put things on the sleeves. If that's going to be the case, measure the sleeve. Obviously, you can't use a full-size piece of paper for something to fit on the sleeve. It will not work. You should read through all these directions before you start, and I'm going to touch on the main points. Later in this video, you'll see actually a student working on the t-shirt and making it. Dark and light t-shirts are different, and that goes with all types of fabric. If the fabric you're putting it on is dark, it has to be done differently than a light t-shirt. Just remember those two things. You'll see that in a second. Okay, this student has already made the design. Now she's going to do a white transfer. So she's going to go to File. Instead of doing a normal export like we've done all year, she's going to go to Print. One of the printers that comes up is Adobe PDF. She finds it right there. The next thing she's going to go is to Output on the left side, the fourth one down. She's going to see in the middle of the page, it now says Flip. She's going to change Flip to horizontal. And you'll notice the P goes backwards. She's now going to hit Print. At the bottom, she's going to get a flashing icon. She's going to click on it, and she's going to name her file and save it someplace she knows where it is. And that's all she has to do. One thing that students always have to do is plug in the material. There's a big, for this one right here, for the t-shirt making one, there's a big yellow cord. That's the one that has to be plugged in. So the student's gonna take that something out, plug it in, the light goes on, and you should not have to do anything else. That should be it. The student is carefully cutting out her black design. The black one, whatever you see, is going to be what actually goes on the shirt. So if she doesn't cut this out, all that extra white on the outside would go on it. Here's the example here. You have the Patriots logo, which is at the top, which was perfectly cut out. But then you have the letters that you have a black background because that whole thing is basically like a sticker going on the shirt. If you don't want that look, then you have to cut out each individual letter and put it on the shirt that way. A light colored shirt, which gray is a light colored shirt along with white, you do not have to worry about cutting as much. The problem there is, though, you want to make sure you leave it on long enough. The person who did this did not leave it on long enough, and you can see how the blue didn't come out properly. If they had left the heat and under the heat press longer, it would have come out better. This part is where you actually get the black ready. This is actually a sticker in a way. It's like a funny sticker, and you have to actually rip it ever so slightly. Now, you're not going to rip the design, you just rip the backing. Once you do that, you can get a fingernail under there, and you should be able to peel the backing off like this. And you separate it. And then you just put this on the shirt. Which you see the rip is here. There is no rip here, and it'll be ironed out with this big iron. The student doing the black now is going to put this waxy piece of paper over her whole design. It must cover the whole thing, because what this sticker is going to do is going to stick to whatever it can. If you don't put that down, it's going to stick to the top of the iron. So she's going to put that there. She's also going to put a white piece of paper over it. And now she's ready to actually heat press it on. So she's going to take this big machine, the big handle, push it down all the way, make sure it clamps in. And for a black one, it doesn't take very long. You can count to 5, pull it back up, take the piece of paper off, take the wax piece of paper off, and now that design has become part of the shirt, and she's made a black colored shirt. Okay, the student has got her white shirt ready, and now she's going to put her design on, and this time you do it face down. You make sure it's face down, because this is a different process. It is physically going to take the ink and melt it onto the shirt. What she has to do is take a couple pieces. She does not need the wax paper anymore. She just needs the white paper. And she, in theory, doesn't need the white paper, but if you look on there, people have made mistakes on in the past, and if this gets hot enough, it will melt onto your white shirt. So she's going to cover up every part of her white shirt with those white pieces of paper. She has extra ones in the drawer, just in case, there's no mistake, and that someone else's mistake doesn't ruin her shirt. Now she's going to press this down. She's going to hold this for a long time. The longer, the better. You just don't want to burn the shirt. It'll eventually start beeping, and once it starts beeping, I'll turn this back on. It'll be at least 40 seconds, and you'll see the last part of the process. Okay, the machine has started beeping. She's going to let it beep. You can take it off. You can let it, since you were in here, you can let it beep up to 10 times, but it had beeped 10 times already for us. She's going to take this off. And then she's going to peel the sticker off, or the paper really. It can be hot, so you be careful. And you'll see all that ink that was on the piece of paper is now on the shirt. And you just provide steady pressure. Some people do it fast. It can come out good fast. It can come out slow, however you like to do it. But steady pressure. And there it is. There's the shirt. The last step of this process, if you were the last person to go, you unplug your machine. And so no one hurts themselves, that's why we have the hot sign. And you put the hot sign up, and that's for safety.